So, welcome to the first. Is this the first episode of the Private Client Podcast?
This is the first episode.
There's an introduction. I think that counts.
Well, we'll see how it evolves, eh?
So, right, let's do the introduction. My name's Chami. I'm a financial advisor at Glams IFA and one of the co-founders of the Private Client Network, along with my colleague
Simon Tutton. I am a venture capital investor and one of the co-founders of the Private Client Network.
And how did we get here? When did we start Private Client Network?
A frighteningly long time ago. We got here, we started life as Bristol Private Clients. We needed to find some networking that actually worked and was specific to the private client sector, and it just didn't exist. So we set about creating an event in Bristol where we live, and it's kind of grown from there.
I definitely remember around that time. I'd recently moved back to Bristol from London. I was sort of trying to find my feet as a new financial advisor, and sort of get out there and meet people. And I was sort of going to various networking events. And I do remember one event where I was sat next to a logistics manager. Not that there's anything wrong with logistics managers, but it wasn't the most relevant connection I ever made in my life. I also remember going to sort of more professionally focused sort of professional services events, and I was quite keen to meet solicitors, and I'd meet them, and there'd be loads of solicitors there, but they were every kind of flavor and variety of law apart from sort of private client law. So there'd be, you know, property and commercial and corporate and everything other than solicitors who deal with private individuals. So I remember being super keen to sort of go to an event where everyone in the room was private client facing, and there wasn't one really. Well, back when we set it up. So yeah, I do remember those early days when it was Bristol Private Clients.
And do you remember we tried a lot of different formats as well? And I think the peak, I hesitate to say the peak, but it wasn't the nadir of our events was the bowling evening, which actually worked really well. But we've since honed our format, and gradually, obviously COVID happened, which was really, really good for in-person events. But just before then, we'd met the wonderful Josh Hyde in his Grant Thornton days, and he helped us to expand to our first non-Bristol events in Cardiff. And that's kind of started our expansion across the country.
Yeah, that was, I think we had the conversation of should we keep it local or should we sort of see if it's got legs right before COVID. It was sort of 2019 time, and we're like, yeah, let's expand. We were just getting super, like, the feedback in Bristol was so good. Everyone who was attending was like overwhelmingly positive. Like, this is exactly the type of event I want to go to. Everyone, like almost every single person in this room is relevant and applicable to what we do, which is like a real joy to hear, considering that was what we were shooting for. And then sort of 2019, we were like, let's roll it out and see where we can get with it. And we hosted, I think we did our first Cardiff event in late 2019 and the second one in February 2020, with a whole other list of locations slated for that year. But then in March, the plans were scuppered, and we were I remember at the time feeling very grateful that we did have our day jobs, and professional services was relatively unaffected by COVID, which
yeah, we were quite lucky, really, weren't we?
Which the hospitality and event space, you know, most certainly weren't. And I remember thinking at the time, God, my heart really went out to everyone in that sector, because yeah, it was really a really difficult time. Well, fast forward.
Yeah, I mean, but we did some cracking online networking with online wine tastings, thanks to Avery's.
Hey, thank you. It was your idea, and I have to confess, I remember thinking this is never going to work. I remember thinking, so we're going to deliver wine to people's houses, and then we're going to make people put on a shirt and go on Zoom and have wine tasting. And I was completely wrong. It worked so well. So credit to you on that.
Oh, thank you very much. No, it was, well, credit to Frank for organising it and hosting it, and sending the wine out, more importantly. And then the people who came along, and I remember having to kick people off at like 1 a.m, and as the poetry recitals got even ropier. I wasn't expecting it to turn cultural in that kind of way.
Yeah,
So, but
we should also mention that we were a trio right at the beginning with our good friend Christopher Dowling, who was very much the third part of the triangle at the start, but opted not to carry on with the expansion journey. But I mean, he was absolutely integral at the beginning.
absolutely, absolutely.
And then sort of with COVID in the rearview mirror, we went. I think Birmingham was next, then Bath, then Manchester, then London, then Exeter over the last couple of years, and it's been a really, really good journey. It's been a lot of work, a lot of fun. I mean, we were saying just before we started recording, I think both of us really enjoy sort of going to the new locations and sort of seeing cities that we're maybe slightly less familiar with. And yeah, so it's been really, really good. We've been thinking about doing a podcast for a long time. There's just so many. We're really lucky to be involved. It's a great private client. This sort of wider private client sector is really, really good. There's so many professionals doing amazing work in their own field, but then we're all working adjacent to or slightly overlapping with so many good complementary professions. I mean, from my point of view as a financial advisor, I mean, we're really close. We don't interact much with tax advisors, but we overlap so much, and we refer on to those guys. But they're just a sort of brilliant bunch of people, and it's the same with law. Like it's absolutely integral, whether it's like wills, trust, probate, that type of thing, or on the family side of law. Just really integral to making sure our clients are receiving a good service is making sure that we've got access to really good quality professions that are operating in spaces that we can't go to. It basically just really rounds out the service, as well as, you know, the sort of events themselves helping us with referrals and growing our businesses, which ultimately was why we started this organization in the first place.
No, absolutely. I mean, you were the guy who kind of came up with the idea of doing a podcast, and I think it is a really comes from the fact that events are brilliant, and that's the best way to meet people, is to, you know, we're helping people to meet people across in different professions, but at the same time, podcasts are a really accessible way of getting insights from those people into sectors that you might not have a chance to understand anything about. So it's a really accessible thing, and I certainly listen to podcasts. You know, when you're washing up or when you're driving somewhere, it's something you can do in those times when there's nothing else to do. So it's a really accessible way to access information and other people's experiences a lot of the time. So tell us more about what you see the future of the podcast, Charlie.
Well, it's interesting. Like I'm sort of similar. I sort of consume a lot of that type of content, a lot of podcasts, and similar to where the networking events came out of, i.e. almost all of the events I used to attend to were IFA only, so predominantly other financial advisors, which is all fine, and similarly solicitors are often siloed and tax advisors are often siloed, so the events were really about bringing the sort of all of us together. And similarly, kind of want the podcast to do the same, because there's so many good podcasts in those sectors. There's some amazing legal ones and some really good ones in the IFA financial planning space. But I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most is the crossover and the sort of cross-pollination between the industries, much like the event. So I don't know, just get some great guests on, learn a lot, because, you know, I think all of us, without getting too corny about, you know, being on a journey, we kind of all are with our own knowledge and our own skill set, and I think that's probably the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is getting that cross pollination going between the various private client sectors.
As I say to my kids, every day is a school day, which the corniest line that will never die. I mean, in terms of the future, I mean, there's going to be, I think there'll be a wide variety of topics, and I'm really excited to actually see, you know, the joy of podcast is the world is your oyster. You can kind of talk about whatever you want and talk with whoever you want as well. And I don't know if we've even nailed down like a schedule, but obviously it'll be regular.
The schedule's done. It's all there, penciled in. all under control. So yeah,
Weekly podcast featuring the infamous Charlie Chami.
Weekly or fortnightly. Let's see how we go.
Maybe monthly. We'll see.
No, I reckon we can do better than that. But the also the timing was really good. So for years we've been the private client network in the expanded form has been really going for it for the last 2 or 3 years. But we've been relatively consistent of just doing it on a pay-per event. So we've never had a formal membership. There's been no annual fees of subscriptions, but we've definitely reached the point where the organization has got to the size where we think there's a more formalized membership is the way to go. I mean, much like every other networking group that there is out there. So we're on the cusp of launching the membership, which we're super excited about. There's going to be loads of extra benefits that we're going to be able to provide above and beyond the networking events that we're doing. So when memberships launch imminently, members will get 50% off all of our in-person events. They're going to get access to online networking. So that's a big part of it. So currently the format is we mostly do evening events, usually wine tastings, and early morning breakfast events, both of which are in person. And we have had a number of people that have said something middle of the day, a lunchtime slot would be really, really good. And I just think it lends itself to an online offering, especially in like the world we live in. I just think that's something that's going to be really, really beneficial. Some people who can't do the early morning or the evening stuff, so something in the middle of the day. So that will be members only. So there'll be an online portal for members only. That's where you're going to get access to the online networking lunchtime sessions. And we're also building something else in there called the knowledge collaboration, which is...
Ooh, tell us more about the knowledge collaboration.
So this is slightly different. So the networking events were all about bringing the various professions together from a business and referral point of view. The knowledge collaboration is from a skills and knowledge point of view. So this is going to be continuing professional development, CPD, which we are all required by our various professional bodies to do. And we're going to provide a hub on this online portal offering CPD that's hopefully beneficial to everyone. But again, bringing the idea from the events of sort of cross-professional, that's the whole key to it. So from an IFA point of view, it would be brilliant to have sessions that are not specifically delivered at or to or by financial advisors, although they will be on there. They'll be able to access stuff from tax specialists and legal specialists and property specialists or antique specialists, any variety of stuff. The CPD is going to sort of loosely come in 3 different sections. So there's going to be principles, which will be high-level overviews for non-specialists. There'll be deep dives, so it's going to be more technical sessions going into more granular detail for either subject matter experts or people who want more information. And then the third category is going to be skills, which should hopefully be applicable to everyone. So this is going to cover stuff like soft skills, client handling skills, how to deal with vulnerable people, that kind of stuff. And we're putting together programs in each of those areas, which will be hosted again on the online members portal.
Yeah, I've been really excited to talk to people about this, and everyone I've spoken to has been very receptive and really appreciate the idea of having something different that cuts across the sector and across professions. So yeah, I think there's going to be a really exciting program of content for people there. So and you know there's the chance also to be inventive with the format. So I think there'll probably be a mix of some lecture style as you might see there normally, standard webinar kind of fare, but also interviews covering the same kind of knowledge points and interactive sessions as well for the future. So hopefully there'll be something in there for everybody to.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's just I really think it's going to be the sort of private client network. I think it's just going to hinge on these 2 things. So what we've already been doing the last few years, which is about sort of the business development side of getting the profession together. I just think the knowledge sharing aspect, i.e. basically helping all of us provide a better service, is such an obvious, hopefully beneficial thing to do. And the community is already there of everyone who's been attending the in-person events. So hopefully getting everyone together in a sort exclusive online space will just help with all of that, and particularly the knowledge sharing and improving skills. So yeah, I'm really excited to be launching that, which we will do imminently. Does that cover everything?
It covers most things. I mean, a thought occurred to me that obviously I have my own chosen podcast platform that I listen to podcasts on, and hopefully if someone's listening to this already, they've found the podcast somehow, whether that's via LinkedIn or who knows. But have we put any thought to what platforms we're going to put this podcast on?
All of them.
All of them.
Like, share, subscribe, do all the things that you do with podcasts, that all the podcasts I've been listening to for all the years say. So hit subscribe, share with everyone if they're private client facing or not. Yeah, and hopefully join us on this podcasting journey, and check us out on the privateclientnetwork.co.uk. Take a look at our membership, and or attend one of the in-person events.
Yeah, definitely follow us on LinkedIn. Cool. Yeah, we'll I'm assuming we're going to put these on Spotify and Apple Music and things like that. So
yeah,
listen out for more content, look out for more content on social media, and come and meet us at one of the events. They are the reason we started this. They're great fun, and I can't wait for our autumn season kicking off in just a few weeks. It's very exciting.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Simon. Appreciate it.
Nice one, Charlie. Speak to you soon.